What is your method to find and screen VAs? So guys, this is a great question. And I'd love to deep dive on this one if that's cool, go a little bit longer. I can share with you guys the hiring process that we're using right now. The hiring process that quite literally we just ran and executed, bringing on 2 content writers, 2 VAs, an AV guy. Is that it? What was that? 5 people, 5 or 6 people. We just onboarded using this exact kind of onboarding system for VAs. Does that sound like a good spend of our time for the next 15 minutes or so? Give me some feedback in the chat. Yeah, good stuff. How many of you guys are in the position where you need to hire some VAs? You need to hire just an assistant. You need to hire somebody to maybe make some calls for you. You need to hire a salesperson. You need to hire somebody to do some SEO for you. How many of you guys are in a position where you know that you need to hire? Yes, 1 for an assistant. If so, just let me know what that position is. Yeah, good VA is hard to get. I only have 1. Yeah, so Zap, you should always be running this hiring process if you're looking at hiring another VA, right? So you said a good VA is hard to get. You only have 1, right? So you want more, so that's great, but you got to keep running this hiring process. So when we built out our process, we focused on being able to repeat it over and over and over and over. So this is something that we're going to share with our mastermind members, this system, this process, and they're going to get all the literally docs, the test projects, everything from A to Z done for them. So for those of you guys in the mastermind, surprise is a little sneak peek at a project we're working on for you guys. And we'll let everybody else on the AMA kind of get a sneak peek at this too. Cool. So, so I'm going to open up this Google Sheet. How am I going to do this without sharing the URL though? Hang on 1 second. All right, there we go, fixed. All right, so for those of you guys on GoToWebinar, you guys are gonna be able to actually see the Google Sheet, the Google Doc, I'm sorry, not the Google Sheet. For those of you guys on YouTube, I'm sorry, I will read it to you, I'll walk you guys through it, but you guys aren't going to see the Google Doc. If you guys want to see that right now, if I were you, I would go to digitaltriggers.io/AMA or that link that I put at the very top of the chat and go jump on GoToWebinar real quick, okay? So I put it all the way at the top, it was like the 3rd comment, all right? So I'll walk you guys through this. I'll read the doc, but I'll also try to stop and give you guys some context if I think it's not clear, all right? So complete online strategy says SWEER. I think they meant sweet. Yeah, sweet, LOL. Don't do it, show them later. It's all good, you guys got it here. All right, so we call this the remote hiring blueprint. And so the idea is everything that we do at Digital Triggers, we're gonna test, we're gonna prove, we're gonna create a process. We're actually gonna do it, right? Humble concept. We're gonna put it to its paces, right? We're gonna use it. We're gonna find the problems with the processes and systems that we build. We're gonna fix it, right? We're gonna take it through an alpha. We're gonna take it through a beta. We're gonna prove it with a small group of people, very, very hands-on. It's what I always do in our systems and processes. And once it's shown its colors, it's made it through, right, that alpha or beta and the previous steps, then and only then will we release it to the masses. Give me a 1 or a yes or a thumbs up or something if that makes sense, right? If only more people took the time to actually do this for you guys, we'd have a whole lot better products out there on the market and we'd all be getting a whole lot better results. So that's what kind of the context for this is. So the goal of the remote hiring blueprint is to give you guys quite literally a detailed step-by-step process that you guys can follow to hire A players, okay? And the goal is specifically for remote workers, all right? You guys can take this though and take the same principles and strategies and just tweak it right? That same context, right? The same the same outlook, if you will, and tweak it. And you guys could do this to hire in-person people. In fact, I've taken the same systems and processes and done this to hire in-person people, right? Running group interviews that are highly leveraged. And that's what this thing is all about, right? Having highly leveraged time so that literally a VA can go and run with this process. And you're just needed at the beginning to specify a couple of things. And then you get the best candidates out the back end of this process, right? And you're able to say yes or no at the end. They're hired or they're not. Okay, and I've done this again in person to run group interviews where I'll have like 20 or 30 people, right, live in an interview. I'm not gonna run 30 or 20 of these one-on-one for 30 minutes each. That's a fucking waste of time, right? We need leverage in our business. That's how we scale our businesses. We create systems and processes that give us leverage. Amen? All right, so the way that this works is essentially around what we call our 5 building blocks, all right? So this is all about the philosophies and how we sustain this blueprint, okay? This is all the kind of metrics and fundamental understandings and perspectives that we have and that we agree to going about this blueprint, okay? We keep things uber organized as well. There's no point in creating a system if it's not organized. I have tried to create lots of systems over time, and guess what? I'm not the most organized person. So I follow it the first time, but the second time the process doesn't get followed because I skip a step because I'm lazy and I don't follow the process, right? So we gotta ensure that this thing is uber organized. And the way that we do this is we keep everything right inside of Google Drive, right? So we just copy a resource. So we make a job description, we have a template, we need to hire a VA for these 5 activities. We make a copy of that one, right, job post description template. We fill in the blank and it's ready to go. We then take the scoring card that we have for that position, right, and we make a copy and we name it for the position and we put in the date. Okay, now everything's in this new folder for this new position that we're looking for, you know, this very month. Okay, so you guys will see that there's 5 building blocks. First and foremost is razor sharp clarity. Second is our working principles. So I'm a big believer in having the right type of people on your team, right? If you are somebody, you are something that is all about big picture, you need somebody that's gonna get the details worked out. And if you don't, you're gonna have problems in your business. If you're the visionary entrepreneur, right, you're gonna have a big problem if the systems and processes aren't executed from A to Z and you don't have somebody on your team that takes care of the details. And the opposite is true, right? If you're an introvert and you're really good at creating systems and processes, guess what? You need to partner with some people, bring on some people that will help you cover the areas that you aren't so good at, right? Like sales, like creating videos, like creating content, like doing what I'm doing right now. Does that make sense? Okay, but we also want to find people that are the right fit for our company, meaning they are going to jive, they're going to get along, and they're going to like working with the rest of the team. Okay, this is important all the time. If you don't focus on this, you're going to end up building a company that you don't fucking like. You're going to end up building a company that you don't want to be a part of. You're going to build a company that you don't want to go into work, even if it's virtually. Ask me how I know, right? Whether it's successful or not, that will happen. Okay, so when you're hiring, you got to make sure that you're hiring based upon working principles as well. Okay, so one of the big working principles for me is value and impact over hours worked. I don't give a shit how many hours you worked. I care about the value and the impact that you brought to the company, right? If you took off a day and you still got everything done and you brought home the bacon, right? You crushed it, I'm gonna pat you on the back. The guy that worked 40 hours and didn't get it done, sorry, right? And that's just who I am. And so I know that hiring and looking for team members, right? I'm looking for people that align with our working principles, right? For me as well, I'm super ADD. I'm always on to the next thing. I need to know that the details are being covered and somebody's gonna follow the system and process. I have no problem slowing down though as an entrepreneur to help onboard a new team member because they're gonna free me up tremendously. And I have no problem answering a question for a team member. First time, second time, no problem. Okay, but I do expect that they're going to go to Google and they're going to do a search to try to answer their questions for themselves, right? Are they going to try to answer the question themselves and then ask for verification if that's right? That's super important. You don't want to be getting hit up 10, 15, 20 times in a day saying, Joe, is this the right move? Joe, should I follow this instruction that's on the process? Fuck, yes. And trust me, if you've tried to hire and build a team, that will happen. You haven't experienced that yet, it's like, oh shit. That will happen all day long, every day. Zap says, I need to come work for you. You do, man. We need you on the team. So really think about your working principles and what you believe on, what you believe in, and what you want the people in your company to believe in. It's kind of some woo-woo shit, right? But it's really important. You can get away with building small teams without worrying about this, but I think that what's at risk is your sanity. If you build a company that you hate, trust me, you will go insane. So an attractive offer. Okay, hiring a solid VA or a solid worker for any type of position, you got to have a solid offer. Okay, and you got to stand out from the crowd. Okay, so one of the ways that we stand out from the crowd is there's a video of me, quite literally just on my phone like this, talking about why somebody would want to work with me, right? And we use that inside of our ads. Okay, that sets me apart from 99.9% of other people out there hiring for the same position, because I'm on video and I'm talking to them. And to be honest, what I'm talking to them mostly about is working principles, their pay, but then also as well, what are the added benefits that you guys could give somebody? So even if you can't afford to pay more than market rate, right, or 10% or 20% more than market rate, let's say you can't even afford market rate, you guys have spent thousands of dollars in training and in courses. You can offer to help give those people that training, right? So this year we invested in A, B, C, and D training, and that's going to be available to you. You're going to help them up their skills, and that's what they need. Okay, so don't be afraid to flex that and to offer that as a position. Look, we spent a lot of freaking money on this training, right? And you're going to get firsthand access to this, and you're going to help us execute this. That's a big, big positive, right? So a pool of candidates is next. Guys, we got to have a big, big pool of candidates. If you don't, how are you supposed to send them through a funnel and only end up with the best at the bottom? Okay, so no matter what platform you're using, okay, you should be pushing the envelope with your pool of candidates. So if they allow you to boost the post, promote the post, right, invite more people, and they charge you $10 or whatever for it, do whatever you have to there. Okay, I see a lot of people say, like, Joe, should I highlight or should I feature my job post? I don't know. Like, you want to get the most attention? Of course you do. Right? You don't want to do this 10 times. The next thing is we have a funnel approach. Okay, so everything on the front end is automated. We have canned responses, canned messages, canned emails, and canned test projects for the entire thing. Somebody does a great job, it's like, congratulations, here's what's next. That message is predefined. They do a bad job, it's like, thanks so much, we appreciate your help. We'll consider you in the future for a test project or for another project. Guys, we never give somebody a bad review. This is kind of contradictory. And for me, this rubbed me the wrong way for a really, really long time. But here's the thing: you pay somebody $5 to do a test and to get a feel for their skill set, and they screw it all up. And you go on, Upwork or whatever site or sites you're hiring from, and you leave them like a review, like, this guy's the biggest dipshit since the Flintstones. What do you think he's gonna say about you, right? If you light him up, he's gonna light you up right back. Okay, so do yourself a favor and just drop it, man. Let it go. Thanks for your time. Thanks for your effort. We'll consider you in the future, right? Just leave it neutral like that. Okay, trust me, if you light him up, he will light you up right back. It's not worth it, okay? So just keep it neutral and keep it moving. All right, but everything in there should just be completely automated. Okay, then next up, you guys will see, for those of you guys that actually see the Google Doc, you guys see the crazy detail here? Okay, so then we get into kind of how we build out this entire process. And so the next step is all about assembling kind of your architecture. So we have everything in very specific places inside of Google Drive folders, right? So step one, sign into your Google Drive, create a folder called this, right? Copy this, make this folder, you know, move this from here to there, right? And so this whole thing is processed out from A to Z. So you guys want to know how I hire? This is it. Guys, this is literally my step-by-step system, right? And then we pair this with checklists to ensure that it's done correctly. Again, my goal is to spend 10 to 15 minutes to hire an A player. The only way that I'm able to do that is by having this thing systematized out from A to Z and just handing it to somebody on my team that I already hired using this process and say, get it done or done. Right? Get it done. I'm gonna have to let you go. Guys, at the end of the day, when you put that much sincerity, you put that much detail in a process, and it's just like do or die, somebody's gonna figure out how to get this shit done, right? How many of you guys hand a project to a VA and you're like, yeah, my goals for this project are, you know, I'd like to get some Google rankings and I'd like to do this, and here's an 8-hour training that you can watch about this, and you know, on Monday, I'd like to see how things are going. Guys, what do you think your results are going to be outsourcing like that? And unfortunately, that's how I see a lot of you guys trying to onboard and train and test your hires and virtual assistants. Now, you got to be specific, right? You got to give step by step. You got to define the results that you want, and you got to tell them exactly when it's got to be done. Zap says, stop laughing at me, Joe. All right, so you guys can see, I'll scroll down through here a little bit more so that you guys can see, you know, some more of how we do our higher level hiring strategy and the process here. But again, the principles and philosophies are simple. It's that this thing's got to be a system. It's got to be a funnel. It's got to be strategic. We got to be looking for the right characteristics in people. We don't want to hire somebody just for today. We want to hire people for long term, right? I've had people working with me that have been with me for 4, 5, even 6 years, right? And I got to tell you guys, like, to replace that person would take a whole lot of training. It would take 2, 3, 4 years to get them up to speed, okay? So think about that next time you're hiring a person. Think about, what can I do to automate this next time? What can I do to process this next time, right? Or just jump in the mastermind, obviously, and get our hiring process.